Yeah, I learned my lesson. It is a weird weather day today. I don't quite know why the water's not working. You pull the handle up. Usually it should go after, I don't know, about 9-10 seconds. Nothing's happening. It's never easy. It was such a warm day today. I mean, look at it. It's darn near 40 degrees. It should get actually up over 40 degrees today. Everything's melting and turning slushy. And I was gonna get the ducks outside for the first time in a couple of days. Now I gotta deal with this. Back in the fall, I had an issue with this pump. I had to sort of rebuild it with some jury-rig parts. Release the Kraken! That's about as fresh as an egg as you can get. Holy smokes, did you see that? She just spit it right out. Let's see if we have any more eggs inside. No, don't see any here. I don't see. Oop. We got one here, but this was from yesterday. This one was frozen. Ah, bummer. Gotta take this chance to turn the compost. So there's a challenge going around from a number of different homesteads. I think it was started by Rent to Grown. G-R-O-W-N, Grown. And then my friend Kathleen over at Mama Grows and my friend Sam over at the Teal House, they all challenged me to answer this question of what is your ultimate homestead goal? I know I've told you guys a number of times about how I want to meet my ultimate demise and how life here on the farm is meant to enable and support that. So I'm not gonna bore you with that topic. I feel like I have so many different goals. There's so many things that I wanna do. But, you know, in thinking about this challenge, I got to start to watching the folks over at Rent to Grown's video about this challenge. And I'll leave a link down below. You guys should check it out. It's a really good video. Because they said that they had this dream of one day producing a loaf of bread that was entirely their own. They use their own wheat, they grind it themselves, they make their own loaf of bread, they bake it, and boom, that's what they got. And I was moved by that. I gotta say, like, I was like, wow, like that's a powerful thing when I saw it. Oh, by the way, I know in a recent video you guys were saying you were really worried for me about the barn collapsing with all the snow that we've been receiving. And you know, I just wanted to answer that too. So just so you know, it's all safe, it's all good. I had a structural engineer take a look at it when I was going through the process of putting in our application for the barn grant to restore it. That was one of the things I did, was I had somebody look at it, make sure that it's structurally sound, and it actually is. There's some things that could be shorn up. It definitely needs a new roof, and it has some issues obviously with some of the side structures, but the main structure of the barn is really rock solid and in good shape. So I'm not too worried about it collapsing. The other thing to note too is we have a special feature with our roof here. So it's got a very high pitch, and then on top of it all, it's that sort of steel roofing material. That's very important. It allows the snow to melt pretty quick off. Anytime you get some good sun, the stuff just sort of melts and slides off. Oop, just like that. Did you see that one piece? A lot of times it'll come off in big giant sheets. The downside is it leaves those giant piles. Like if you look over by our house, which has a similar type of roof, you'll notice those giant snow drifts that are right there. That's all just from snow falling off the roof. And it's kind of a hassle to clear up. And one time I got hit by snow falling from the roof as I was walking out of the barn, and it knocked me on my butt. But other than that, it's actually a pretty cool feature. So don't worry guys, I'm being perfectly safe when it comes to the barn and its structural integrity and me being inside of it. So, but I appreciate the concern. Come on, Jemima. There you go, girl. I'm stalling and dawdling and not answering the question of what is my ultimate homesteading goal. And I guess the reason is this. So first off, I want to separate this idea of the farm and the homestead. When I think of the farm is very much about what we're doing for people outside of this property. You know, for our friends and our community, how we're growing food, how we're providing it, how we're putting it out there, how we're selling it, even the business model behind it. That to me is the line for the farm. When it comes though to the homestead, that's everything that Allison and I are doing for ourselves. That's everything that we're doing to make this a great place to live. It's everything that we're doing to make our lives more ecologically friendly. It's everything that we're doing to make ourselves more self-sufficient. And so I really do draw a hard line between those. And when it comes down to it with the homestead, I don't have a ton of like specific goals. And as I've been trying to figure out like how I was going to answer that question, it really kind of hit me when I started taking apart the water hydrant down below there a couple minutes ago, that I don't necessarily have a goal. It's much more about the journey when it comes to the homestead. When I think about it, it's how I'm changing as a person, sort of the evolutions that I'm having in terms of how capable I am, in terms of the skills I'm developing, some of the things that we're building and growing around here, the close relationship I'm now forming with my food. I mean, heck, this morning, just randomly, I just saw a duck lay an egg out of nowhere. I'm really copping out on this one. So to my friends at Mama Grows and to my friends at Teal House Farm and Rent to Grown, I'm really sorry. I don't have a good answer. I really don't have an ultimate goal when it comes to the homestead. When it comes to the homestead, I really just am enjoying the path that I'm on and the steps that I'm taking and the growth that I'm seeing on a regular basis. And I just keep doubling down on that and doing that. And so really to keep expanding myself and what I'm doing there, that's the ultimate goal. All right, let's do some walking around, folks. Let's go this way. Go to the water. Come on. Everybody to the water. Everybody to the water. right, let's go try to fix this hydrant once and for all. If I can't get it fixed, I'm gonna have a real hassle on my hands, because that's my main source for water. If I'm not getting it from the barn, that means I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get water from the house and carry it all the way back here, and it ain't gonna be fun at all. Gosh, look how much water is down here. It's gonna be an ice skating rink tomorrow. Oy vey. Despite my wishes of being more self-sufficient, it doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to fix this thing. I just texted my plumber to see if he could maybe come out and check things out and help me come up with a solution, because that right there is well beyond my skill set. So I just got off the phone with my plumber friend, and yeah, it's good news and bad news. So the good news is that he said that he could replace the hydrant pretty easily, and put a new one in, and I could be good to go, and I wouldn't be dealing with all the problems I'm constantly dealing with this hydrant on. And all in all, it would cost me $220, which to me feels like a really good deal, and yeah, I'm down. It's totally worth it. The bad news, though, that he had to share, along with that good news, was that the only way he could install the hydrant is if we disconnected the spring line from the spring box to stop the water feed, because if you don't do that, he's not going to be able to get in there and replace the hydrant. I know that the spring is somewhere south of the barn in the woods, probably not too far from one of our streams, so I have a general sense of the vicinity, but I've actually never found it, even though I've gone looking for it a couple of times. And so that might be a little bit of a challenge. I think the other problem is we've got about 2.5 feet of snow on the ground right now, and aside from today when it's been really rainy, it's been a lot of cold days, so the ground's frozen solid, so I'm not even sure I could disconnect the line even if it was frozen. I'm not really sure about that one, honestly. That leaves me with this conundrum of what to do. I have a plan B, which is I can fill the water buckets up near the house. Remember how earlier I was explaining how snow slides up? Yeah, irony, it's brutal. So the spot that I have the hydrant in, it's like really close to where the snow is always falling off the roof, and so it's just sort of hard to get in there. And I could probably, it wouldn't be too much of a problem to just do one or two buckets a day, but to do like 8 of them or 7 of them, ugh, that's a lot. And so I got to figure this one out. Just like when you think you've got the world figured out, you get a new curveball. I mean, this will be fine and I'll manage, but ugh, it's not going to make life easier, that's for sure. So I wish I had a better conclusion for you guys, but that's pretty much all I got here on Goldshaw Farm today, where we are building a farm in Vermont, even though sometimes it's not always easy.